Hey viewers, welcome to VL Astrology once again. I'm Vanita Lenka and I have Ashwin back on our channel. And we are going to be discussing, like every month, we have started this ritual when Sun transited Aries, that we are going to be doing the mundane prediction as regards to the Sun's ingress in each sign. So when it is going to be transiting through Taurus this month, how is it going to be impacting India? And on the mundane level. And we are going to be discussing this time 12 signs predictions as well. I'm not going to be making a separate video, so we thought that we'll be incorporating 12 signs readings also. Welcome, Ashwin, again. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure always working with you.
Thank you. So we are going to be doing the mundane predictions first. So I'm going to be sharing the sign when Sun transited through the Taurus sign on the 15th of May, and it's going to be till the 15th of June in the sign of Taurus. And this is a chart of the day that is New Delhi, India time, when Sun transited through. You can see the degrees as 0 degrees here. So when we actually make or put up the chart of any particular event, that decides how the upcoming month is going to unfold. That is why this is the birth chart of Sun in Taurus. So we can actually make out each and every house will represent how is it going to play out. So we will be discussing first Sun in Taurus, and then being the ruler of the eighth house, because it's a Capricorn rising, which has which is the rising sign. So this is the baby born during this time. So we are going to be discussing that, and all the other grahas also, how they are going to be playing out, because it is the chart of solar ingress. And this is the Sankranti, which is the Vrishaba Sankranti. So, Ashwin, we can see that this is a Capricorn rising sign, ascendant, and moon is debilitated with Sun in Taurus. So, being the ruler of the eighth house and right opposite the seventh lord. So, what do you have to say as regards to Sun in Taurus first, and then we move further on? Please.
So, thanks again. But concerning Sun and Taurus, one thing is to kind of understand the Taurian nature and also what Sun can do in Taurus, so which is to give a lot of stability and also provide light in those areas where we have not seen much light so far. So, Taurus is the natural sign of family and finance. But in this chart, like for Capricorn rising, which is ruled by Saturn, Sun happens to rule the eighth house of Leo, and eighth house is basically transformative, and also it can indicate potential threat or decline, and it can also indicate sudden events. So planets placed in the eighth house and planets that rule the eighth house generally indicate crisis or transformation or hidden matters, secrets, and also some form of challenges or crisis points related to finance that can potentially come up during the given period. On the other hand, we should also understand what Sun as the eighth lord can indicate. So, which indicates some kind of decline in reserves and surplus, that is the savings of the nation, because fifth house indicates savings and eighth house indicates transformation or changes or downfall. So, which is the downfall of the savings or reserves and surplus, whatever it is. And then it can also indicate, I think fifth house is also education, higher education or something like that. So maybe something that's traumatic related to higher education can flare up during this time, with Sun and the moon in opposition almost. The moon is just past the opposition, so maybe something like people or students come and engage in some form of a protest or gathering or something like that. So it just kind of occurred to me right now as I'm speaking, and I also think there is a lot of secretive matters that are involved. So obviously India surprised with with a lot of calculative and adept abilities in terms of striking the enemy, the basically the terror bases, and most people were surprised, and the entire world was shocked as to how India has kind of managed such kind of precision, although no one had the guts to say it outside. And apart from that, Pakistan is sent around like more than 100 drones or missiles, which were all successfully intercepted. And none of the drone or missile uh, actually kind of fell in any place apart from Poonch and adjacent areas. So, there, India has kind of determined its potential. There is a new technology that India has developed, indigenously developed, which has shocked and surprised the world. And that is why, like, India has developed a new technology that kind of goes and finds out where even the drones or missiles that kind of change track right in the air. So it doesn't take much time to the defense system doesn't take much time to stop whatever the drone or missile is coming against India. So it just takes course as movement according to the incoming missile or drone. I don't want to mention the name in the national interest, but there are some people who have been saying it, which is so bad. But India has developed its own technology in terms of air defense system, and it has been 100% successful, which has particularly shocked the world. And India has also potentially neutralized the nuclear effect or switched off the nuclear effect, arguably, because uh, Donald Trump kind of rushed and called for an urgent meeting, and everything was leading to ceasefire. But the real reason was that India has potentially finished the nuclear bases of Pakistan, and the radiations have started emitting out of the debris that they have at this point. So that is the reason war has come to ceasefire. It is not that India or Mr. Modi has kind of succumbed to pressure from the US. The Pakistan and other Western nations have no other choice but to kind of accept a ceasefire, because India is never about war, and India doesn't want to kind of kill any uh, citizen, and that is why they precisely attacked terror bases. So India has no interest whatsoever in attacking civilians or Pakistani military, but it was always about the terrorism or countering terrorism. But it also became necessary for India to kind of switch off the nuclear effect, because it's very dangerous to kind of have such a volatile country nearby that is breeding terrorism, and with nuclear arms intact with them is always dangerous for us as a neighbor. And if India has completed it fully, I think it is very good, and that is the reason Donald Trump was rushing for a ceasefire, and Pakistan was basically kind of pushing a US as a trump card to you know na- uh, uh, negotiate ceasefire with India. And so we mentioned that there will be shots fired, but so and everything was uh, you know finished off without any damage for India. I mean, there was some damage, but there could have been a lot more damage, and we all could have been in war, and economy could have been in shambles. But now everything is at least over for the time being, so that people can kind of move on with their lives. But I don't think this is fully over as yet, because we can see that Mars is still in Cancer, and Rahu and Saturn conjunction is still prevalent. So although India has kind of successfully navigated this challenging situation, India has potentially lost the information warfare, because none of the countries except a handful, came in support for India, because India lost the information warfare. We never cared about information warfare. And we also mentioned this in the previous video, saying that it is possible that Indian decision making or acts could kind of be criticized on the world stage, and it's not a surprise, as we can see. There are very less news media channels that applaud and appreciate India's efforts in countering terrorism. And apart from that, India is being seen as an aggressor in this war, despite having lost 26 to 30 innocent civilians in Pahalgam. So that's one thing. And on the other hand, we can also see this, very astute international diplomacy, wherein with the ninth house, Dr. Sashi Tharoor has been of the opposition party, has been nominated to kind of represent India on an international forum, along with a few other delegates as well. And this shows that India is moving beyond just petty internal politics, or the current ruling government is moving beyond just politics, and they want to kind of hold international diplomacy as one of the most important things. So there has been a lot of impulsive communication back and forth, especially if you look at the social media. Obviously, there are anti-Indian elements that kind of cry in support of those people who murdered innocent civilians. But I think with Ketu, the 9,000 Mercury in Aries, India has taken a staunch position to kind of counter not just terror, but also hold its position on the global platform by being very rigid. So Ketu in the ninth house can indicate some form of astuteness, so kind of a wisdom that no one expects. And also there is a lot of potential to kind of keep this track going on with Ketu in the ninth house of Virgo, especially given this time. And for me, this is an important indication of how India is handling internal diplomacy as well, by appointing Dr. Sashi Tharoor as a primary person to, from an opposition. It kind of reminds me of how Dr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, during his 1991 to 1995 or 96 tenure as Prime Minister of India, put Mr. Vajpayee as Indian representative in the European Parliament. So at that time, the ruling government was Congress in the prime ministership of Mr. Narasimha Rao, and Mr. Vajpayee was the leader of the opposition. And it indicates healthy politics. So putting the nation ahead, and Dr. Sashi Tharoor as well is one such example here. And Jupiter in the sixth house of Gemini indicates a lot of enemies on social media, because sixth house indicates challenges, and the third and the 12th ruler, we are going to see problems because of poor communication in social media. And it will happen because of our own people, and they will keep spreading false news. And Mercury, the lord of the sixth house, in the fourth house, indicates communication in impulsive ways that could not necessarily be true. It could also be falseful communication. And the notice is that we should not kind of fall prey to all those bad communication channels. And for me, Mars in the seventh house, as the lord of the fourth and the 11th house, shows that the seventh house is opposition. Fourth house indicates immediate neighbors and also domestic well-being. But when it comes to immediate neighbors, I think India doesn't have a very collaborative neighbor at all. So we know most of the neighbors are challenging for us, and they're only kind of there for us as problems. And
Saturn is
11th,
aspecting Sun also.
yes, Saturn is aspecting Sun with its third aspect. And on the other hand, and that indicates problems for government, nothing but problems for the government and administration. But I think the moon in the 11th house of friends and gains, as like moon is debilitated in the 11th house, and that also indicates a lot of potential to kind of have friends who are not willing to speak for us. And sometimes there could be potential challenges where people could, I mean, the friends of our nation could turn into challenging, strained relations for us in the near future. So that could be one of the cases. And diplomacy, uh, although there is stringent diplomacy, when there is stringentness or rigidity, there is also kind of potential for failure since the other party won't hold up. That is another important aspect. And seventh house also indicates straight, direct enemies. And Mars in the seventh house indicates a weak enemy, but it indicates a volatile enemy who could do anything at any point of time. And Moon is debilitated as well, which indicates in Scorpio, especially. So it kind of talks to
Exchange. It's forming an
it is a
exchange.
mutual exchange,
Yes.
but it also indicates, I mean, the seventh lord moon fallen in the 11th house of especially Scorpio indicates a snake that is wounded. So, or a scorpion that is wounded. So it kind of creates a lot of problems. So if you see, Mars is also placed in Ashlesha nakshatra, which is a Sarpa nakshatra, and we could potentially see a lot of problems again across the borders. Uh, with Mars squiring Mercury this time, which rules the ninth house, and here Mercury is applying to a square. So there could be a lot of problems with the neighbors, and also problems because of communication and information warfare. And India, if there is, I mean, I feel there could be few more shots fired, but I think uh, this time again, if the shots are fired, India will again end up losing the information warfare. But I think from a long-term perspective, India is progressing reasonably well. Uh, and lot of the first house Saturn in third house indicates there is a lot of initiatives that India is taking. And fifth and the 10th lord Venus as Yoga Karaka is placed in the third house. So India will take strong measures to counter all these social media false narratives and challenges. But I think there's only some kind of a limit to which India can function, because Saturn indicates limitations, and Saturn is placed in Pisces along with Venus, which indicates limitations and forced boundaries. So there is only so much that we can do against so many challenges. So I think we as a nation should keep moving forward. And I just feel something is brewing behind in in the water bodies, and we need to be a little careful about it as well. So yeah, I think this is what I had primarily. But if you want to kind of share some thoughts, then we can talk about economy, finance, and other things.
Sure, sure. See, I generally start with a Lagnesh that is in Rahu Ketu axis. Okay. And as you know, third house is the house of communication, neighborhood. This is also about what exactly are we going to be doing, paperwork, signing of agreements, some kind of communication that we are going to be having, and that too in the Pisces sign. So maybe there will be some agreements that we will be getting into. And being the fifth house rule, eighth house ruler in the fifth house, this is about education, children. So could be that there will be some that the youth will be targeted during this time, what I feel. God forbid, but mortality rate in the youth might just increase during this time. I'm sorry to say, this is a disclaimer that we are just discussing it in a flow, whatever.
I just lost a friend yesterday, so it's not false.
Oh, that's sad. So
Yeah.
so you see, this is something which can also increase that kind of bitterness with sun. Sun is as it is, sun is a very detaching graha. Sun is ambassadors. Maybe it is because of some ambassadors that we have to, as you rightly said, that Mr. Tharoor was invited. The opposition, as it is, sun and moon are in opposition, and there's an exchange between Mars and moon also. So this is all indicative of the politics involved in through the opposition, and being the foreign policies and all, because moon and Mars are in exchange, so there will be some foreign policies or international disputes, or some foreign trade, because it's the 11th house exchange, so it could bring about some allies to the nation also. And also, when I talk about the Ketu energy in the 9th house, this is also about, some kind of colonial trade and trade, which can trade affairs, which can take place, and commercial powers and shipping. And it is the 9th house energy also, which is going to be prevalent. And with this sun being in the house of its own, actually, it rules in the natural zodiac, the Leo sign, and it is the 5th house. I mean, not the Taurus sign. I'm talking about the 5th house of the natural zodiac. So this can bring about some financial stability, budgetary matters, resources, and material well-being also. So there will be desire for security, because this is the house of security also. So citizens seek stability and may resist change. During this time, it could be conservatism, and tradition may dominate. The slow, but we can say a steady progress that can be there. Will not, it doesn't rush. Taurus sign doesn't rush things. It is going to rather slow things, and maybe, it is going to be that the government and institutions may move deliberately, favoring long-term plans over sudden changes. Because it's the 8th Lord, 10 places away from itself. Whenever the Lord is placed 10 places away, it is actually, it's going to give stability to the government also. So they're going to be making some long-term decisions, and it's not going to end so soon that, okay, I know that warfare is indicated with this kind of a chart, because the Lagnesh is in the 3rd house with Rahu, with the foreigner. So it means that it is not going to end so soon, and there is bitterness also involved. Being the ruler of the Risvashana, Lord is exalted of sun. It is exalted.
Yes.
So it has to bring about some stability also. At the same time, it is going to be not that great for the relationship with the neighboring countries. So this is steady, practical, grounded, but still, some stubborn decisions need to flow in. What do you think?
I think I agree. When you said practical, I think it's the theme of this month itself, because Capricorn rising indicates pragmatism, absolute brutal pragmatism.
Right.
And Saturn is placed in the 3rd house, so there will be a lot of initiatives, and some initiatives could kind of blow out of proportions, and things will flare up much later and not now. And I think there is a lot of action. There's a lot of action with the 10th Lord placed in the 3rd house, because 10th Lord indicates administration and administrator. In our case, it's Mr. Modi. So there is I mean, with Venus, with Saturn and Rahu, it's obvious that there is a lot of criticism, and also some kind of false narratives that Mr. Modi has to deal with, but he doesn't kind of pay attention to all those things. But I think all those will keep continuing. But I think the way that the leader progresses and moves ahead for the sake of the nation will also continue, and that will never stop. And it is evident, and during this particular transit with the Lord of the 10th house in the 2nd house, 3rd house of Pisces, it's exalted. And as the 5th ruler, as much as India will spend, I think India will also find a way to kind of increase the reserves and surplus, because 5th house indicates reserves, and India will take initiatives to further and improve the reserves and surplus in some way. And the second Lord Saturn is placed in the third house, which also indicates a similar story, like taking initiatives to indicate reserves and surplus. But it, and on the other hand, it also indicates some kind of tensions with imports and exports with third and ninth ruler. So there are potential disruptions or challenges that India might face during this period in terms of imports and exports. Imports might be still okayish because of Venus, but with exports, there might be some challenges that we may have to deal with. But overall, I don't think it will have any impact on our economy, and the government will find a way to kind of navigate through this troubled waters. Um, so and moon is fallen, so somehow I think, as you mentioned youth, but I just feel like there is still something that's pending in terms of loss of lives, which is quite tragic. And yeah,
Yes,
I don't want that to
absolutely.
happen.
We don't
uh,
want this to happen. But Ashwin, I always see the saving grace.
yeah,
So from Sun, if you will see, Jupiter is in the second house.
yeah,
So that is a big time saving grace, for the nation's
for the nation.
economy,
Yes.
stability, if we talk about. So that is something which we have to see the saving grace also. And of course, it is looking at the 12th house, it is looking at the second house also. This is Jupiter. It has just
Yeah.
transited through the Gemini sign. So this is also a big time, grace for the health of the nation as such, overall, sixth house.
Yeah, I think overall we are safe, but I think there will be one or two instances here and there which will kind of make the news and give some kind of a tension for all of us who are kind of watching and
What
following the
about
situation.
the share market? What do you think? Because of the fallen moon and sun right opposite, do you think there is a volatility that we can experience, or
Swami, the volatility in banking related stocks come because of Mercury, because
Hmm,
Mercury is in impulsive Aries, and
hmm,
so there is some kind of volatility. But overall, I think with the second ruler Saturn in the third house, we could see 2 or 3 sessions where the share market might take a plunge and uh, go through a nosedive down the barrel. But I
hmm,
think by by the middle of this sun's transit, there is also a lot of potential to kind of get into a course correction and uncover the you know uh, downward spiral that the market had taken much earlier. So I think it is more of a balanced month as far as financial condition is concerned, because I think we will be trying to innovate and spend a lot more with Rahu slowly approaching Aquarius. So we are
hmm,
going to innovate on all forms, like at all the corners, and India will kind of spend a lot of money on all those things. But I think on the other hand, there is also a lot of creative ways to improve income and reserves and surplus, primarily because of Venus. So I think there will be a lot of that is kickstarted during this month with Venus in Pisces. I see that as a really good positive sign
hmm, hmm.
for financial matters of the nation. But the other side, it's it's obviously there. But yeah, that that's one of those things which kind of comes as a silver lining for me.
Yeah, at least for this, the first 15 days, when sun is here, Venus is going to be Ucha, it's exalted.
Correct.
So till the 31st, it's exalted. So the dispositional Lord is in strength, undoubtedly. So it is definitely, and I always see a silver lining whenever Saturn and Venus are together. It's a big time grace. And at least for the Dhana Yoga that is forming, in the sign of Pisces. So if we have cordial relationships with the neighbors, and we try to figure something out. Of course, we are not saying that we should be stern, we should be strict, we should have some real, a strong, stern decision making here, because this cannot just go ahead. And what about the terrorism part? Do you think that we are going to be getting impacted even more, furthermore?
I
Ashwin, what do you
I
have to
don't know
say?
if I don't know if there is an infrastructure to kind of immediately attack India with terror at this point. But I think
That's
we
what
should
they think.
be safe. I mean, I'm just telling you the practical reality.
Hmm.
But with Mars in Cancer,
Hmm.
aspecting the
Hmm.
4,000 Mercury by
Hmm.
square, I think it's important for us to stay careful with the moon
Right.
also in Scorpio. And with Rahu Saturn conjunction, anything can happen anytime. So we cannot rule out terrorism
Hmm.
for this period, or we cannot rule out accidents for this period. Very important. Accidents
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
cannot rule out for this period since Mercury is squaring Mars. So and also like I mean, sorry, but we should not rule out assassinations or some kind of a spy
Loss of
related
an ambassador or some
yeah, some kind
prominent
of a
figure. Hmm.
prominent figure. So that also is something that we cannot rule out during
Hmm.
this period. So yeah, I think it's very important to stay careful and grounded with Sun in Taurus and with Capricorn rising, Saturn close with Rahu. There is a lot of potential for earthquakes as well. Uh,
Hmm.
with prominence
Not
of
to
Earth.
forget, even Mars is going to be in Leo sign, which is ruled by Sun, and Ketu is also going to be there. So it is definitely quite volatile if we pick up this kind of a chart. So it is like, some covert operations, going on, and Mars and Ketu conjunction, some surgical
Yeah,
operations can also trigger again.
exactly.
That doesn't look good. Like, I'm just smiling it away, but that doesn't look good either.
But do you know the exact date when Mars moves into
Mars on the
Leo?
7th June is going to be
7th,
moving
7th
into.
June. So we don't need to kind of worry about that. Maybe you will do a separate video for Mars and Leo. So that is something that you will cover separately. But I think one important factor that I just wanted to mention in the
Sure,
passing
sure.
is
Yeah.
Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are royal signs,
Yes.
and when natural malefics kind of uh, occupy these signs, there is some kind of trouble in royalty or administration or higher position in the government, and there could be some form of assassination or death. Uh, uh, b- and it doesn't have to be necessarily India. It can be any neighboring country as well, because we most of us share the similar time zone, and even for Pakistan, it is the same,
Yep.
except for 30-minute difference. So there is chance, but yeah. So with Mars approaching Leo, I
I think
think
youth is going to be really, agitative,
challenge.
quite
Yeah,
agitating, because, Mars and Ketu are going to be in the sign of Leo. Again, in the natural zodiac is the fifth house, and it denotes a lot of, a lot of
anger.
aggression in the youth.
Yeah,
So that is like something which people need to be calm, and they should guide them through, because there, because of the unemployment as it is, there is a
yeah.
lot going on.
13.8%.
So just imagine, it is definitely triggering and simmering something really
Yeah,
scary. So we need to be very cautious about all these things also, and we should be preparing, and mentally we should be calmer. That's what I can say, because there are issues that I can see with the youth more, this transit of Sun in back to back in the Taurus as well as in the Gemini sign. It doesn't look that great.
yeah.
So we can do the sign wise readings now,
Yes.
Ashwin. People are waiting for that also. So what do you think? We should start now?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I don't know. Can
So
I follow if there are any comments actually? Like maybe.
there's just one comment. Every time Saturn is in Pisces sign, US behaves bad with India, according to Dipanshu Giri sir. That's all.
And no,
That's
I
the
mean,
only comment. And then rest is thank yous. Yeah.
okay, fine. Because I just want to see if people have any questions or thoughts. Maybe we can address them also. But okay,
Yeah, they can definitely, put in the comment section
comment.
every time when they do it. We can get back to them later also once the video is ready.
Yeah,
And for sure, this is going to be an ongoing series. So we Ashwin is always available, and Ashwin, you have to tell your even your details.
yeah.
You can People want to reach out to you, so you can just mention that as well.
Yeah, for
I'll
me,
just write it.
I don't know, like people
It's
can reach out to
AB,
me.
it's AB,
The
sorry,
A B THE
DHE, okay,
TT
DHTHE,
THE,
yeah,
the
yeah.
ABVERDICT. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this is my website, abverdict.com, and with the same name, I'll
Yeah.
be found on all social media platforms.
Sure. You
And
are a
yeah.
famous figure. Everybody knows you. And on the FB, it's like, your articles and everything. And on Quora also, you can, you've stopped writing on Quora?
Yeah, I don't write anymore on Quora, but
Okay.
I'm kind of
Because that is
reasonably
how I
active.
found you, at
Yeah.
the first place. Okay, so for Aries natives, let's start with the reading. You have your sun ingress from the first, now it's shifted to the second house. Second house is the house of money, possessions, self-worth. You're going to be nudged to slow down and get real about your financial planning. It's a great time to rethink spending habits and build something long term. You may feel stronger need to enjoy life's comforts, but avoid impulsive splurges. And also, being the ruler of the fifth house, this can trigger some speculative income inclination towards speculation also. So, if it is long term, perfect. Otherwise, you have to be really careful about that. Your take on Aries?
For me, Aries second house, it kind of sun's presence in the second house of Taurus puts or throws light into areas of family and finance, which means we need to kind of focus a lot more on kind of safeguarding or kind of recorrecting or course correcting some of the financial aspects of our domestic life and family life, and also spend some quality time with family and to kind of reassign roles for each and everyone in the family, because sun indicates administration. So there is something that we need to kind of administer within the family and financial circles. And I think somewhere down the line, the sun in Taurus in the second house also indicates that people need to take care of their eating habits and or kind of administer and care about their eating habits, especially with the Mars in the fourth house of debility. The Aries rising people have struggled a lot with volatile Mars, and I think they are slowly kind of going out uh, of the emotional turmoil or burden that they've been carrying, and sun in Taurus is kind of going to act as a catalyst to understand or have a retrospective view of what happened in their lives over the past 4 or 5 months since Mars went retrograde, moved back to Gemini, and then came back to Cancer. And it will help us to kind of resurrect and reorient our lives uh, with family as an anchor.
And also take care of your eyesight, because sun in the second house gives disturbances there also.
Yeah.
Coming to the next one, thank you for a very great analysis, I would say. Okay, coming to the next one, that is Taurus. So for Taurus natives, this is going to be your first house transit. And wherever there is sun in the first house, you first of all have to take care of your headaches. You can have headaches, you can have some stress levels that can increase, but it is definitely going to be bringing about you on the center stage. And this is a great time to redefine your identity, refresh your goals, take initiatives. Others may be drawn to your grounded presence more than your usual. And also focus on your self-care, your image, reconnect with those who make you feel um, alive, I would say, not happy but alive, so that you are good to go. And also the Lagnesh is, the dispositor Lord, we have to see also it is exalted. So post 31st, it is going to be. So you have to be careful about your expenditure part again, because Sun is where Venus rules, and Venus is going to be entering Aries sign where uh, Sun exalts. Okay, so it can bring about some sleep disorders, or there can be some relationship issues also, and ego clashes as well in your relationship. So that is something you have to be cautious about. But overall, till 7th of June, I would say that communication with your siblings, etc., you must be careful about also. Do not get into any kind of new ventures right now, status quo. But it is good for definitely, if you want to plan your finances, your how you have to work, how you have to look at the bigger picture. So this is a very good time. Over to you, Ashwin.
So for Taurus, first house, so it's about self-identity and trying to kind of recalibrate our own self in terms of how we identify as a person. So there is a lot of potential to feel encouraged and motivated. So there is a lot of potential to gain vitality and energy during this period. And as fourth lord in the first house, it also indicates that we need to take care of our own self a lot more than what we would expect. So as the fourth lord, sun indicates domestic well-being or immediate well-being, and with first house indicating self, it shows that we need to take care of our own self more than anything else. So first house is of paramount importance as the native, and fourth house shows some form of importance for domestic well-being and care. And also it's probably good if you kind of rearrange and reorganize a little bit something at your home or maybe at your living room or wherever you stay for a long time, because fourth lord indicates some form of movement, and in this case sun, so it in the first house, so it indicates a movement or a change or a shift within your house, which could potentially lead to something positive, or at least in terms of psychological well-being, it could indicate some form of positive shift. And with Rahu, Venus, and Saturn, the rising ruler of Venus is still exalted in the 11th house. So the Taurian natives are enjoying a reasonably good time with some well-earned comforts. So I think that is something that we can continue. And with Mercury, the Lord of the second house, we need to be careful about how much we spend, and Lord of the fifth house as well. So we are kind of pushing ourselves on our savings. So be sure to kind of cut on some of the costs that you are incurring. And yeah, third house, moon in the seventh house at this point, but moon makes quick movements, so it doesn't make much sense to talk about it. With Jupiter and sun in second house and the first house respectively, I think it is important time to take care of our own self and try to formulate some strategies to improve ourselves and push ourselves to the outside world much more than
Yeah.
what we actually can.
Yeah, outside world. I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Great analysis. Also, I just wanted to add something here. When sun is in the first house, I generally see that, people, they isolate themselves. It's said that it's in the 12th house that they isolate themselves, but generally, what happens, sun is the king. He's the king, and it's about themselves here. It is not self-centric, but he's focused more on the personal well-being also. And of course, we have seen that with the dispositional lord also going to be in the exalted place of sun, so this is going to be a very important time period to save money. A very you have to be careful about your expenditure part and your investment part also. So let's move on to the next one, that is Gemini. So for Gemini natives, this transit of sun is going to be being the third lord in the 12th house. So this is going to be the time for isolation, rest. Your intuition is going to improve. Maybe you can be a good healer at this time. You're just doing the wrapping up of the lingering issues during this time period. There are some people who are going to be guiding you, or maybe there can be some hidden enemies who can come into limelight. You have good connectivity with the foreigners. Maybe you can make good chunk of money from the foreign lands. Take care of your siblings' health. Maybe they're going to be parting ways, or they're going to be moving away from you. Do not pick up any kind of arguments during this time with them. And also this is about connecting with an NGO or something. If you can just focus on doing for others or doing things behind the scenes, the king working behind the scenes for the public. So that kind of a situation. So you can just have some groundwork which is going to be getting better for you in the future. So you can just plan everything. Whenever sun is in the 12th house, it's good time to plan things for a bigger picture, because then sun next month will be in your first house. So of course you have to take care of your health, you have to take care of your family members also during this time, but at the same time it's good for your personal introspection and personal growth as well. Okay, so I leave it to you.
So I mean, we have third lord in the 12th house, so it's okay to feel lazy during this time. So there is no hurry, or there is nothing that is so pressing more than giving your body a little rest and trying to kind of enjoy the cozy comforts of what a human can enjoy. So that is a part of it. And also it's good to not kind of take a lot of initiatives during this period because of the third ruler being placed in the 12th house. All those initiatives may or may not succeed. So there is no clear opportunity or path for our initiatives to succeed during this point. And therefore now is the time to actually brainstorm, because for Gemini rising, Jupiter is in the first house, so they are full of confidence, and therefore what happens is, like, they have access to all resources they need to have. So they get a little carried away by all these things and end up going with initiatives. So Gemini rising natives still need to take a little easy, because Mars is still in the second house of Cancer, and there is chance that we might end up in loss. And Sun also is placed in the 12th house, which can indicate expenditure and losses. So as third ruler, Sun more likely indicates our initiatives going for nothing. So it's better we kind of brainstorm during this period, this particular month, and then um, you know gather a lot of ideas and information, and then try to process those information and make a decision much later than doing it now. So I think it's better to lie low and kind of work behind the scenes, and then move forward later, because Mercury, the lord of the rising sign, is in the 11th house. It is good to kind of gain information. So Mercury is information and 11th house is gains. So gaining information and processing those informations um, in with a view to research and understanding rationally what is good for us and what is not good for us is something that we can do now. But the actual decision making can happen at a much later time, and not during this particular time when the sun is in the 12th house of Taurus.
And the Lagnesh will also be getting Kambas. So that is again, indicative of taking care of your finances while traveling, etc. You have to be cautious. And also, one more thing I saw was the disposition or law till 31st is in the 10th house. So it is good for forming a connection or income from the overseas places. And also, when Venus, the dispositor lord of Sun, is going to be in the 11th house, this will be a good time period. So from 31st May, I see some major changes coming in your income part, and there will be some, and also, pay attention to your dreams and your gut. If you have to make any decisions, don't depend on other people. Make decisions wisely yourself, and they will be somehow the right decisions when sun is there. Sun illuminates wherever he sits, illuminates that zone. So it is definitely going to illuminate your gut. It's going to illuminate your that is why the dreams, the intuition, the gut feeling, that gets that light. So it's very good for power healing, for yoga, for any kind of practices. If you want to start during this time, it will be really helpful for you. Okay, let's move on to Cancer. So for Cancer natives, this transit of Sun is going to be in your 11th house. 11th house is again, you may reconnect with your friends. You must join some community if you want to align with your value systems, if you want to really grow. And it is a good time for collaborations also. It will give you that kind of public image, or you will definitely be collaborating for long-term goals. And in case you have been waiting for some change, change of job, so this will bring about some openings also. Think less about immediate needs and more about the bigger picture. Go slow, but go steady. And also, being the ruler of the second house in the 11th, it is definitely going to give you some upgradation in your finances, because it's
Yeah.
forming a dana yoga in a way, because it's the lord of Surya, the disposition lord, is also in the ninth house. So it is definitely giving you that upgradation. And then Venus will be in the Kendra also. When the Kendras are going to get active, it is definitely going to strengthen your relationship with your bosses, seniors, co-workers, etc. And also, it is going to be a very positive thing if you are looking for a change. And I think that's it. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for Cancer rising, I think the the period is again, as you mentioned, it's important to kind of focus on those areas, but also kind of do a little bit of physical routine, or kind of a spiritual activity which brings some form of rejuvenation or excitement to the life that has been really challenging for over the past 4 or 5 months because of Mars's back and forth movement into Gemini and Cancer. So now that the Cancer rising natives are ready to get rid of Mars and have it in the second house and move on from there, I think it's important for these people to get ready, given that you mentioned Sun in the 11th house, but Mercury has third and the 12th ruler is actually placed in the 10th house. So Mercury in the 10th house will give some form of a push in terms of professional matters and all those things. But with Sun in the 11th house, I think there is real scope for kind of feeding our interests with by fueling some money inside, because of the second lord being in the 11th house, and as you mentioned, the fourth and the 11th ruler Venus exalted in the ninth house. But the only thing is, we need to be a little careful about how much we extend or push our luck in terms of finances, because we need to note that the lord of the sun, that is Venus, is conjunct Saturn and Rahu. So there could be some form of disruption or some form of limitation that we may have in terms of whatever is our accessible financial resources. The actual financial resources and accessible financial resources are two different things. So somewhere down the line, we may not be able to access the resources as much as we want to. But I think as Sun progresses into Aries and Venus progresses into Taurus, and Venus approaches its exaltation point in Pisces, I think things will slowly fall in place, and that is and until then we need to kind of have that little patience and hold your emotions, because you have already held your emotions for such a long time. So hold your emotions and just hang in there for maybe a period of 10 to 15 days, and a lot will change over the course of the next 10 to 15 days, and things will slowly ease up for Cancer rising natives.
Also, the Mercury is going to be changing 3 signs, almost 3 signs. It is going to be
Yeah,
in
before suns. Yeah.
Aries, it's Satichari. It's actually the normal pace. Mercury is going to be in the 10th and 12th, 11th, and then lastly the 12th when Sun exits as well. So it is going to be combust for a while, and being the ruler of your third house, so you have to be cautious about your communication, especially with your siblings, older siblings, and your co-workers also. While traveling, you have to be a little careful as well, but good for starting any new business, startup, or investments also. Of course, you have to seek help and advice of the right kind of people. With Sun there, you will get the actual guidance. When Sun, as I said, wherever Sun sits, it illuminates that zone. So you will get those ideas triggering now. So how you can generate wealth from wealth that you have. Okay, so it's definitely a very positive phase that you're entering into. So I think enjoy. Coming to the next one, that is Leo. So for Leo natives, this transit is in the 10th house where Sun gets Digbali also. for this 1 month, you do feel quite, charged up. So whatever, you're going through, any kind of, delays and things not working, or father's health suffering. So these are going to subside now with the 10th house suns ingress. It is going to give you reliability. It is going to give you that recognition, leadership skills, making more practical moves with the trine of the also getting active. The practical trine is also getting active. So work wise, you're definitely going to be better. The authorities might be constantly testing you, checking on you, so stay steady. This is definitely going to strengthen, because the Lagnesh is going to be in the 10th house after all. So it is going to give you that upgradation also. It is going to strengthen your professional foundation. So in case you want to use your potential, you should use it, make the best use of it right now. And it is going to be conjunct your 2nd and 11th lord also. It is going to be definitely from the 22nd June onwards, 23rd June onwards, I think, May onwards, when Mercury also joins in. So this is going to, the Lagnesh joining the 2nd and 11th Lord Mercury. So it is going to uplift you financially also. So, and communication wise with your co-workers also, you need to take, their help and advice, and just make leaders out of leaders. Don't work in isolation during this time, because sun here is actually good a placement for the politicians, for the leaders. But when you are in isolation, you don't grow. So think that you are going to be working together with your people, with your co-workers, with your bosses, and not against them. So that will help you. So what do you have to say?
No, for me, I think Sun in the 10th house straight away points out to authority. So there is a lot of authority and attitude that kind of pushes these natives forward during this period. And Jupiter's presence in the 11th house helps as well. But I think overall, the Lord of the first house in the 10th increases the social status, and the way people look at you is going to be a little more different than it was earlier. So a lot of it is connected to the nativity as well, but this is just one passing month where things will improve and it will put you on the map. So it's not that we are always kind of on the limelight and we are kind of attaining some form of a uh, enlightenment or absolute fame or something like that, but it is about being at the right time at the right place and be doing the right thing. And I think that is something uh, is kind of culminating for Leo rising natives, being at the right time, right place, and doing the right thing. So Sun in the 10th house is very, very important for these people to kind of identify themselves with with their own financial situation, and also their own family related dynamics. I won't say challenges, but dynamics of how the quality of their family is moving on, and how their identity is shaping within the family is also very, very important during this time. So I think overall this is a reasonably good period. I would just say that don't push your luck too much, because the ninth lord Mars is still fallen until the 7th of June. uh, and after that, it's important for Leo rising natives to take care of themselves physically so that they don't get hurt, because Mars entering the first house, Ketu in the second house can also, I mean, Ketu is going to be there for the better part of next 16 or 17 months. But I think as far as Mars in the first house is concerned, it might trigger something, because Mars would square the sun. So heat related challenges and bruises, wounds, cuts or something like that, or skin related problems because of heat. Uh, so pitta, something can kind of flare up, which people need to take care of at this point.
When you mentioned this, I was just thinking on the mundane astrology level, whenever Mars is ahead of Sun, or is squares Sun, so we do get, or trine Sun, definitely, we experience a heat wave in most of the parts of the world. If at all, it's a moderate climate. So it may be, from cold to hot, hot to hotter. So we
June is
have to
going
be
to be
prepared,
hard, no
embrace.
doubt.
Sorry?
June is going to be hard without a doubt.
Without a doubt. But you know what, 7th June, Mars is also going to be in the Leo sign, which is a
Yes.
heaty sign, and Ketu being the fiery graha, with two fiery grahas also in the Leo sign, is not going to be easy. So as compared to the previous times, I think it was last year or last to last year, somewhere around last to last year, I guess, it was the hottest year I heard,
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
India,
could be. I mean,
especially in the northern parts. So this is going to be one of those years. Again, maybe some records will break. So be careful, embrace the situation, and be careful about your health as well.
records will
Be
break.
hydrated. Keep yourself hydrated, I would say. Okay, coming to the next one, that is because, so many points come in when there is a discussion going on. So it's really helpful. So for Virgo natives, this transit of Sun in the ninth house is not that great. With the father-like figures, the relationship might just spark up. So be careful. Obstructions and impediments might be felt when you're doing something important, and you feel that nothing is working because the Lord of the 12th is in the ninth house. So it is good for the ones who are looking at the bigger picture, planning everything for traveling, learning, spiritual growth. This is good. Exploring a worldwide view, is going to be good, but there will be some obstructions that people feel when Sun is in the ninth house. Unexpected accidents, money saved will get spent quickly. Maybe you will have problems in getting properties, honor, because this is the 12 places away from the 10th. Remember, Sun doesn't do well in this house because this is the house ruled by Jupiter in the natural zodiac, and it is in an inimical sign ruled by Venus. Venus is gaining strength here. So when the dispositional Lord gains strength, that means the significations of that particular graha is going to be more prevalent. So Sun is losing his potency because it's Karko Bhavnashaya, because it is also the Karaka for the ninth house, really regards to your father-like figures. So maybe with your boss, with the authorities, you have to be very cautious, and there can be some sort of humiliation, and the fame that you're expecting or the promotion that you're expecting, it can bring about sudden changes. Maybe you will lose the job or you will change the job. So that is something you have to be prepared for. I'm not saying that it is going to be 100% correct or 80% correct, because it is from 50%, it could be 10-20%, which the predictions can be correct, because this is not a personal chart that we are discussing right now. So definitely, if you are in the dasha of Sun, so this 1 month can be a little tough for you. It can give you some health issues also, so be careful. So you need to breathe more of fresh air. So that is something which, if you are in those vicinity, because if I say fresh air, there is no fresh air because of the pollution elsewhere. So that is also one thing that you have to be cautious, as it is Ketu is going to be in your 12th, Mars is also going to be joining soon. So these are looking little tough combinations for you. So you need to now, Virgo people, don't take it otherwise. You have been going through a lot with Rahu Ketu axis predominant right now, but Jupiter being in the 10th house is a saving grace. Ketu leaving the first house is a saving grace. It's just that when Mars and Ketu are together, you have to be cautious while driving. It can lead to hospitalization or meeting someone in the hospital, like somebody else, from your family is in the hospital, and you're just helping them out, because 8th Lord is in the 12th house. So you need to take care. Sudden events do happen, and Sun in the 9th house in the Taurus sign can lead to some kind of trade also. You can start some trading business also during this time. But yes, I would repeat that you have to be cautious about your job. Sit tight on whatever you're doing. Don't feel humiliated, or do not feel that you're not getting that kind of acclaim that you should be getting. Don't expect too much. Over to you.
Yeah, don't expect too much. So since you have covered the mundane part of personal life, I'll go and talk about spiritual part of personal life, because ninth house is all about philosophy and belief systems. And with Sun in the ninth house, I think it is important to kind of hold some ground in terms of spiritual matters. And it's good to kind of go back to, whatever we learned as spiritual practices when we were young, especially from our grandparents, because Ketu in the first house indicates grandparent kind of relationship, or something that kind of comes back into our life. with ninth lord, if with the sun, 12th ruler in the ninth house, puts some kind of an uncertainty in terms of the ninth house topics, but also I think the uncertainty can only be cleared off with uh, uh, spirituality and philosophy. So going into spiritual texts and trying to kind of make sense of the higher learning and greater wisdom is always going to help, because there is a lot of inherent ability for the Virgo rising natives to analytically and rationally make sense of what any given text is actually saying. So for me, I think it's important for natives of Virgo to kind of engage in some form of spiritual practice or a reading session, which will help them to kind of come out of this madness. Because Ketu, anyway, in the first house, indicates that they need to move more towards non-materialism during this time. And I think Sun in the ninth house kind of just affirms and gives a lot of potential during this month to cover a lot of ground and try to kind of completely capitalize this window that is available for them. Anyway, with the third and eighth ruler Mars in the 11th house, there is not much social life that is indicated during this period. Anyway, and seventh lord Rahu, Saturn, and Rahu, Saturn, and Venus in the seventh house. There is a lot going on with relationships, and Sun sextile Venus, Rahu, and Saturn is going to bring little bit of structure and pattern, and also importance that we give to relationships will kind of alter, and you may have to recalibrate a little bit, especially with Venus moving out very quickly before we even realize. So I think recalibration and rethinking is needed in the areas of relationship, and I think spirituality is going to support a lot. I'm not going to say that chanting mantras is going to help, but I think trying to read philosophical texts or higher wisdom that talks about the realities of life is one of the most important things that Virgo rising natives can do during this period, followed by Libra.
Yes, amazing. As usual, like the dispositional lord of sun is in the seventh house. It is about relationship also. Some chemistry bonding is going to change. Very good point. So you have to be cautious about those areas. And also, you must understand that whenever we are talking about a particular transit, it is dependent a lot on your personal dasha. So if you are in a dasha of sun and sun is in Taurus and it's a sun return for you, so solar return for you, so you have to check from that also. Always
Yeah.
check from that also. So it will make a lot more sense. So coming to Libra. And also I must tell you that sun does good only in 4 houses when it transits. 3, 6, 10, 11, the Upchaya houses. So Upchaya are the growing houses. So there the 3, 6, 11 are the 3 Shadayas. I'm just digressing right now. But yes, when we talk about the Sun, Saturn, Mars, they do well in Upchaya houses, especially Sun, because Sun is about authority, about the because of him we are doing what we are doing, the immunity levels, the energy, the kind of courage that we have. So 3, 6, 10, 11 houses are that way good for the malefics more. So if we talk about Libra, it is going to be in your oh, I have not changed this, sorry. So when we talk about Libra, it's the 8th house transit of Surya. So whenever, there is a transit of any graha in the 8th house, it actually gives you that deeper knowledge that sun illuminates that zone any which way. So some hidden emotions, some hidden, agendas or anything that you're going to be reviewing now. So it is going to be a very positive thing if you're just trying to, something which resurfaces. So it is going to actually be a good time if you want to come out of your, any kind of debts, any kind of loans, financial thing, or you want to review your job, your profession, your friendships. So this is a good time. Financially, you may review your joint accounts, your debts. Emotionally, it's a time to dig into whatever you fear and transform it. And this is about merging, trusting, facing vulnerabilities. What is it that you're lacking? So all that we can see from here. But sun might just, delay things related to your home environment. Maybe you're going away from your home, um, traveling to some or relocating from where you are. It is also quite likely. It can give you some eye related or headaches during this time in the eighth house. When it transits, it can give you some upheavals in your income also, but you will be reviewing your finances really well. It's said that when sun transits here or any malefic transits eighth house, ninth house, there is a loss of a dear one or passing in the family, something like that, happens. So it can bring about some, it could be that somebody's in the hospital also. It could be anything, but not just that there has to be a passing only. Sorry about that. But it said that, you are forced to take part in some funeral or something like that. So just do the past deeds. I would say that if you can just go and donate something in the cremation grounds, if you can go some and feed the needy whenever you have a sun here or any kind of grahas. Jupiter suppose was here, you could have done that, or you just take some water and sprinkle from the cremation ground if you can bring. That's a remedy altogether, separate part altogether. But it said that cough like diseases may affect your health, and there can be sunstroke also, you have to be cautious about. So heat stroke, sunstroke, all that you have to be a little extra careful. And just sit tight on your money, your resources. Do not spend unnecessarily also. And review your finances well. Being the ruler of your 11th house in the 8th, it is good for speculative income. If you want to just park your funds in the investments, in the share market, crypto, etc., so that you can do. But that too in, not for a short term. If you're doing anything for the longer duration, then it is definitely going to pay you back. Right now, people are sitting tight, Ashwin, on their funds. They are not spending right now because of this. And sixth lord in the eighth house, any which ways, you have to take care of your health also. Okay.
Yeah.
Over to you, Ashwin, if you have to add.
Yeah. So the only thing that I would like to add is to be aware of transformative experiences that might occur during this period, because the eighth house is the house of transformation and also deep, uh, uh, you know, things that are not necessarily visible to the outside world. Only those people who are experiencing could kind of understand it. So a lot of things are not easily describable, and sun kind of takes home in the eighth house and gives this humanistic experience where people tend to express themselves from the bottom of the heart and try to understand that humanity is not actually as bad after all. So they try to kind of connect with a lot of people and try to enjoy the little moments that they have with other people, and this could kind of help them unburden themselves, because now is the time that they need to unburden with Ketu in the 12th house. So this is the year of unburdening. So kind of leave off a lot of things that they've been carrying. And Sun in the 8th house is one of those important junctures where the Libra rising natives need to focus and learn the unlearning process. So, and that is the reason why transformative experiences become very important for us in terms of bringing back the stability to our lives, and embracing a little bit of pragmatism, and also try and accept a little bit of comfort, even if you don't have the time, because it's important to kind of have routines, but at the same time it is also important to kind of have some me time for you all to kind of enjoy and appreciate the life that you have. So I think that is one of those crucial junctures that kind of Libra rising natives are finding themselves at this point. And there is a little bit of uh, you know with sun trining Ketu, so there is this and also kind of in some form of 111 relationship with Rahu. So there is this karmic component that kind of indicates both the 12th house aspects of uncertainty and 6th house aspects of service. So sometimes maybe 8th house is connected. So transformation and peace is found through serving others, and that is how kind of people try to leave their uncertainty behind and just move forward. I think that's one of the philosophical ways of looking at Sun and the 8th house of Taurus. So yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Because you're talking about if somebody who is going to heal others will definitely be able to heal oneself also. Also,
Correct.
somebody has just asked about the unemployed Libra will get a new job or not during this month, May month. So what is your take? I just want to take a, like, obviously I will also say something, but if you have anything to tell her, she wants to know about her job prospects.
Job prospects. I want to kind of read that. What is the question again?
Please guide if unemployed Libra will get some new job opportunities in May month.
See, for Libra with Mars in the 10th house and of its fall, I don't know if it is realistic to kind of have some form of job, but I think as and when the Mars moves into the 11th house, the second lord in the 11th house, some form of income generation or the chance of income generation opens. But I think a lot of it depends on personal birth chart as well. So I think it might be a
Exactly.
little unrealistic for us to make a comment on that. But
Mm.
just to kind of mention something from a transit perspective with Mars in the 10th house in fallen condition, I think you just need to wait until June 7th to kind of relive some hope, because second lord in the 11th house, lot of income in the in the house of gain might kind of bring something forward.
And Lagnesh is also, actually, I do take that also. Lagnesh in the sixth house, though it is exalted, but it is in the house of debility. So that has also, the restrictions and constraints in earnings because of that also, because, it's a house of service.
Yeah,
So when Venus is in the sixth house, it's not considered to be good actually for any of the horoscope, like any of the lagna. So when it is in here, so it is causing that kind of constraint also in earnings, and it is
yeah,
um, see, Venus is the graha of in the natural zodiac, the second and the seventh lord. So when Venus is in the sixth house, it is consider, and that too in the sign of Pisces, which is in the natural zodiac, the house of loss. So this Venus has to leave, so the income will start. That's what I feel. 31st May onwards, you will see that there is some prospect opening up. And with Rahu Ketu also changing signs, though people will now say that Ketu changing signs and coming to the 11th house will again restrict and constrain the earning prospects. But no, it is not like that. Ketu in Leo sign is considered to be good, and definitely it is going to upgrade you. It is going to be better for you for your income also. That's a valid point, that Mars will also be leaving the Kendra and will be
yeah,
in out of
yeah,
the house of debility.
yeah.
Coming to the next one. Yeah. So
Scorpio.
that's what. Scorpio. Okay, for Scorpio. So for Scorpio natives, this is a seventh house transit, house of partnership, romance, also romance or business, whatever, whichever is prominent in your chart. So this is the time when you will be, starting some new relationship, some new dynamics. Dynamics will change. Maybe you will be into, something which is good for your. It's a potent time to commit and walk away from a stale situation also, if you want to break up with your partner in relationship. So break in agreement also we see from here. Egoistical partner also, the partner can become egoistical because it's the ruler of the 10th house, or maybe there is a promotion that is going to be there, on cards as well. But in the 7th house, it can give you some stomach pain, stomach itches, or skin related problem also. And this is also one of the combinations which says that it can lead to the relocation out of compulsion. Maybe you're going to be changing your job, changing your place, but this is showing that you are going to be relocating. It is the second second sign of the natural zodiac. So it is about, spending on something which you did not even think of. So something which is not planned kind of an expenditure can also happen. It could be you're going to be gifting your partner something very expensive during this time because of some celebration maybe. So it's good also. But this is also not considered to be that good for your stomach or dysentery or digestive issues. So you have to be eating right, and this is also going to be resulting in some unnecessary, uncalled for expenditures also. So be careful. And the 10th lord is in the Kendra. So this is good overall for your business acumen. If you want to just start some startup or something, so definitely you can do that as well. I'm not discussing other grahas. Ashwin will, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you covered relationship, and I mean, I don't have much to add. But I just want to say one thing, that seventh house can also have the other dimension, which is I'm watching this on YouTube actually. So there is a seventh house has other dimension which indicates kind of a partnership or an agreement or something like that. So if there are something, some activities or matters related to agreements or something like that, it could potentially move forward during this time, because we would find all the resources that are necessary for us to process any kind of an agreement at this point with Sun and Taurus. So that is one thing that I just wanted to mention in the passing. And I think for Scorpio rising, Sun rules the 10th house. And with Sun placed in the 7th house, it indicates that there is going to be some fierce rivalry or competition or something like that with opposing parties, or even working partners, or someone behind the scenes, whomsoever it may be. So there is a lot of personal dynamics that are going on, because 7th house indicates personal dynamics also beyond just romantic relationships. So something is brewing in terms of relationships that are beyond just personal relationships, and there might be a chance that you develop a good contact or relationship with someone in the administrative level, or someone in the government, or someone in a top financial institution or something like that, which might help you in the long run. So that is another thing. But also it's uh, there is a little bit of practicality. So with Taurus, it is always practical. So I think you would circle back to pragmatism and practicality in terms of both work and also relationships. And there is this factor of loyalty, or being aware of the situation, or being aware of what is happening around us, especially in terms of 7th house matters, is going to be of paramount importance, because Sun sheds light on those areas. So it puts things right in front of us that we have not been seeing all this time. And at this point, it is going to be very difficult for us to ignore. So with Saturn kind of in this 111 relationship, so the 5-7 relationship, so there is going to be some truth about relationships that is going to be revealed in front of you. And if you kind of fail, or if you kind of ignore or deny to see the mirror that is kind of being held right in front of you, it is going to be very difficult for you to have any more realizations in terms of relationships, because the 7th lord Venus is in the 5th house with Saturn and Rahu. So as you mentioned earlier, about if this might be a point where people need to walk away from relationships if they have to. And I think after kind of saying all those things, I'm concluding at the same point, like maybe there is karmically something has to kind of be limited, and it has to come to an end, and there is much less that we can do to all those things. So, and there could be kind of material uh, possessions, because the Lord of the 7th house is placed in the 5th house, and we could kind of have some form of benefits in terms of material possessions, because and also you mentioned the movement, so I won't go into the movement as much at this point. So I think that's it. So public image overall, 7th house is the gateway of the external life. Until 6, it is all us. But 7th house, the first gate, it's the gateway of public life. And this is where our own status of who we are uh, at a shorter duration is going to change, and it might, important collaborations and extending hands and trying to help other people would put us in a really good place with Sun and Taurus. So I think that is another important point that we need to consider, and it's also the period where we kind of end up feeling materially stable, primarily because of work. So because 7th lord in the 10th lord in Taurus in an angular house, so which is quite important. And with 5th and 11th house axis with Saturn and Ketu, I think there's a lot of karmic element that is going on. One is related to your children, and other is related to your social circles. I think it is important to kind of balance both these things. So maybe we are kind of overly concentrating on the 5th house matters and leaving behind the social circles, which might end up biting behind at some other point unexpectedly. And there is also a chance that we might end up kind of having some enmity with someone, because Mercury is placed in the 6th house at least for another week, or maybe 9 to 10 days. And it's important for us to ensure that we don't end any relationship in a very ugly manner, because Mercury currently in Bharani, Bharani indicates Bharani is reigned over by the deity, the Lord of Death, that is Yama. So it's important that we don't kill our social circles. Like 11th Lord is social circle, and we need to kind of give importance to our social circles as well. So no need to kill our social circle during this point, or no need to kind of make enemies out of anyone. If we are not kind of trying to get along, just don't get along. Maybe just leave the place. There is no need of impulsive or ugly arguments or conversations. But overall, themes of relationships and partnerships will kind of determine the dynamics of who you are as a person uh, for the public sphere. And I think it's a reasonably crucial period for Scorpio rising natives.
Yes, absolutely. Because, there is a big change which we can anticipate with Sun being the 10th Lord going to be in the 7th house. Whenever there is a combination of Kendra trinal, there is definitely some change that I have seen. And when the malefics transit the Kendras, though it is a very short-term transit for 1 month, but, it is the 10th Lord after all in the 7th house. So it has to bring about some change, so embrace it. And it is definitely going to be positive. Think like that. And all the best. Coming to the next one, that is Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius natives, this transit is in the 6th house. As I said, 3, 6, 10, 11 are good places for Sun to be in transit. As it is considered to be good. So it is going to be bringing about some go pace for you. So just go grab the, whatever opportunity you're getting right now. And this is also good for being more energetic. Maybe health-wise, you'll be like coming out of that stagnant or laziness zone, and you will be definitely creating some kind of habits or grounded habits which actually will last now. So it is going to be a very positive time for laying the foundation to a fitness regime or a dietary regime if you want to. And it is definitely going to be improving your relationship with your co-workers. Also, it is going to be giving you some rise in your finances. Also, the luck is by your side in a way, and it is going to be giving you some spiritual elevation also. So in case you're waiting for that promotion, so you might just get it now. Just let this Ketu out of your 10th house, and you see things are going to materialize. And Mars also leaving your 5th Lord is also in the 8th house. So this is also bringing about some issues at the workplace till now. But once it leaves, you will see that sun's house and sign is getting active. Sun's sign, I mean, is getting active. So it is going to trigger the positive things for you. And definitely it is going to be giving you some kind of relief from the loans that you have taken, the debts or the litigation that you're going through. You will be relieved from that also. Any kind of worries, difficulties that you have been going through, mental peace was lacking, confidence was lacking, you were not doing well in your competitive examination or something. So this is going to give you that back. And a name, fame, respect that you were entitled to get, from a long, so the long due, I would say. So from third, after the third house, this is after 4 months that you're getting into a better zone, because there were eclipses, there was even if it was exalted, it was not able to give you what you wanted, because in the fifth house also it doesn't do well, because it gives you some health issues. But now in the sixth house, this is a very positive transit, and it is going to open a lot many opportunities. If you want to travel overseas, if you want to join a new job, if you want to ask for a promotion, this is a good time period for you overall. Over to you, Ashwin.
So for me, I think the one of those important things that stands out is the ability to be a natural fighter with sun in the sixth house. So I think it kind of naturally kills the enemies or puts the enemies away from our sight, which gives us a clear path to move forward. So that's one of those important points that I would like to make. And on the other hand, it also kind of makes us a little competitive naturally. But we also end up being a little impulsive and over authoritative during this period, because sixth house indicates employment, I mean, salaried employment. So if we are kind of somewhere placed in the salaried employment, there is every chance that we might be a little not ill-treated, but overbossed by our superiors or something like that. And on the other hand, there is open chance of litigation or picking up some kind of fight, or not fight in the sense, not physical fight, but in general, kind of having some form of difficult dynamics with somehow with some people, especially in the social circles, because that the sixth house as the ninth ruler brings that kind of a challenge. And also it's important to kind of maintain the relationship with the father, because the ninth lord in the sixth house indicates some form of slight strain in terms of relationship with the father. So, and on the other hand, sixth house can also kind of indicate routines. So this is a nice time to kind of bring about some uh, calendrical setup with routines, and try to bring a pattern or structure, especially with the sextile planet in the fourth house. So it gives a lot of comfort. Saturn sextile sun from 4 to 6, it gives a lot of comfort in having sequence or patterns in our routines. So that's something, again, it's important. So I think I think you covered this point, but if you're looking for a raise or a hike in employment, I think this is a nice time to kind of put forth that particular thing, with the sun and Taurus indicating finance. So that is another good thing. And as I mentioned before, it is more likely that you attract opponents, but also you will be able to kind of put them away out of your sight, uh, because of your strategic thinking and natural flair or flamboyant attitude. So uh, there is no need to be over dominant or assertive to those people with whom you're at work. Just you can be subtle, but also you can convey your points in a very reasonably acceptable manner, so that you don't kind of attract so much of problems at work. So because with sixth ruler, we end up kind of, I mean, with sixth house, we end up having some issues or challenges at work, especially with the very fiery planet like sun. We tend to take the dominant route, and sometimes it can kind of backfire. So despite the fact that sun is really good in the sixth house, so some of the health issues kind of might creep out, and it might show up during this time. So it is wise to get treated immediately instead of kind of letting it grow. And don't worry about power struggles. It's always there, but I think as Sagittarius natives, you focus on the natural higher thinking, and with Sun in the sixth house as the ninth lord, it is the time to set up routines for your spiritual orientation, and try and kind of have some psychological grounding in what you do, rather than being all over the place. As mutable signs, it is natural for us to kind of be all over the place, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but trying to be everywhere, sometimes it does not work. So maybe now is the time to kind of you know just gather everything at one place, and anchor yourself at a point, and then try to move forward with clarity and little bit of wisdom.
Okay, I agree. I agree. Actually, even if you are having that point that you mentioned about the health, no, Sun is the
Yeah.
Dhanvantari. So when
Yes.
Sun is in the sixth house, you will definitely feel better in
Q.
case you
Yeah.
were going through some health issues
Yeah.
prior to this month. So don't worry about it. Secondly, of course, you what rightly said that Ashwin is saying they care, do not ignore, and don't go in for self medication. So, in case if we see there is a double transit of Saturn and Jupiter on your lagna, Saturn is looking at your sixth house also. So this is activating, that don't be lazy, just get up and start doing your job, and look for your self identity, because the first house is also getting the double transit. Good for job, good for growth, good for your personal identity, your growth, and your relationship wise also. Things are going to get better and better with Jupiter in the seventh house as well. See, there are two aspects to this, because Lagnesh is in the seventh house. It said that it's considered to be in Venus's sign, a house when Jupiter is in the seventh house. It's Jupiter in Virgo, Jupiter in Libra, Jupiter in seventh house, in the divisional charts also, if you see, it's not considered to be good for marriage, because you tend to be your partner tends to be overruling, overpowering you by being more like a guru to you. So what happens, you don't like too much of gyan also at times, you want a compatible partner. So in relationship, when you have Jupiter here, Jupiter is not an over analytical planet. So when Jupiter is here in the seventh house, why I'm discussing Jupiter, because Jupiter is also your Lagnesh after all. It is very essential right now with suns ingress. Any planets ingress will play out a very important role right now. So sun ingress, Jupiter's ingress, which has just happened, Ketu's ingress. So can you see back to back the grahas are going to be there
Yeah.
in this particular half. So this is going to be a very important and a very crucial time period for you to decide about your future, looking at the bigger picture, working on it, and that too, in a very structured manner, as you rightly said, plan your calendar well. Okay, coming to the next one, that is someone is waiting also.
Happy.
You responded Capricorn. Yeah, Cappies. So for Capricorn, see, I was about to write Cappy only. So for Capricorn natives, this transit of Sun is going to be in the fifth house. It's not considered to be that good, not that great as it is. We have got this chart only, which we erected for the mundane astrology also, because
Yeah.
the eighth lord is transiting the fifth house. So it is good for mantra siddhi. It's good for uh, indulging in the hobbies, etc. But don't overindulge, because sun here is also like only work, only play, and no work makes you a very lethargic person. So that is something which will also trigger, but at the same time this is going to make you quite artistic. It's going to make you quite creative, how you can make money out of money. It's the fourth house from the second house also, and it is from the eighth house, it is the 10th house. So it is good for speculative income, if you want to invest somewhere, park your funds. So this is a good transit for you for that reason. If you want to pursue your hobbies, just draw a line. And also this can give you some kind of mental issues, because sun is in the house of intellect also. So it can give you heated arguments with others, and with your children also. You have to be a little careful. It's also the Karko Bhavna Shai, because it is going to be in its own zone in the fifth house. So overindulgence is supposed to be avoided. If your children need your help and they seek advice, this is definitely the time to unwind and talk to them and just get closer to them. In case your father is suffering till now, he will get some relief here. And also, this is not that great a time for romantic association, or there can be some ego clashes in your romance also. So you have to be careful about it. And sun here can give some kind of um, mental issues, mental health, or mental agony people go through. It is going to be giving you that clarity about your future perspective, also how you have to work through. But at the same time, because it's the eighth house from your 10th, the house of karma.
Yeah.
So when it is transiting the 8 places away from 10th, it is not considered to be that great a period for job prospects, because somebody has asked for it. So it might just be giving you some issues, or maybe you will leave the job in impulse because it's the eighth house, sudden endings. Then you will regret. So the best thing is that just sit tight on your finances, on your job, on your in your relationships also. You have to be careful about all of these. And of course, Mars leaving the zone and going to be transiting your eighth house with Ketu also there, it does give some issues in your marital bliss also. Thank God that you have Jupiter transiting through the sixth house. So even if there is a litigation or any kind of separation that you have been planning for from a long time, this is going to be giving you that no, I don't want to. That my mental setup might just change with Jupiter. Jupiter is a benefic graha, is a pious graha, will give you that wisdom. Don't do this, that kind of thing. Refrain. But Saturn is looking at your fifth house. There is isolation, there's separation, there's coldness in relationship, any which ways. So you have to be little bit prepared for it. And over to you, Ashwin. And let's finish it off fast because you're getting late also. And I have
No, that's
also one reading. Yeah.
okay. So, like for me, the eighth lord in the fifth house indicates some form of transformation in the fifth house issues, topics related to creativity. If you are engaged in a creative project, I think now is the time where you need to kind of make some adjustments or changes that are very much required for the success of that particular creative project. And maybe you need to kind of administer or monitor your children in ways that are actually empowering for them, because sun can also mean empowerment and giving strength to any particular relationship. So in that case, with fifth house, sun in the fifth house, it can kind of potentially empower children, and we may end up playing an important role. But that said, it does not kind of rule out any form of sudden events, which is already what we shared for the mundane reading. But for personal things, it's a little different. So there could be some kind of a crisis point, which could be financial as well, and also it could be relationship based as well, because Mars is placed in the seventh house and Venus is conjunct Saturn and Rahu. So there is some kind of a transformation that is going on, that is brewing behind the scenes. And it also indicates transformation in terms of understanding or knowing some form of secret, and then we end up transforming. So maybe something kind of comes to a transformative close because we came to know about something that is potentially endangering whatever we have at that particular point in time. So as I mentioned, it's important to focus on creative projects for Capricorn rising natives. It could be either writing, or it could be either dealing with children in more creative or innovative ways. And also it kind of indicates some form of insights in terms of hidden or occult belief systems. So maybe you start studying some form of an occult knowledge with a guru or someone like that. Or maybe if you already are involved in some kind of an occult knowledge, you kind of end up getting a rank or recognition for that. Maybe you end up doing tarot or some form of studying some form of mystic tradition, which could end up being a potential field of study. So, but all this is, I think you mentioned long term. So it's the word long term is also one of those important keys here. And so there is obviously, if you are creative and if you are engaged in artistic fields, it's going to kind of move forward, but with little bit of hiccups or hindrances here and there, because Sun is after all the eighth ruler, and it has to kind of bring in some form of challenges. But with the fact that Venus is still in Pisces, the ruler of the Sun, there is some form of betterment that we can hope. So even if things kind of start a little in a shaky way, I think there is a little bit of hope that we can move as we move forward. So that is one thing. I think overall, there may be a chance that we have to face rejection. It could be anywhere. It could be inside family. It could be in relationships. It could be at workplace. Whatever it is, I think eighth lord naturally brings in relationships. Maybe your kids reject you for some reason. You bring something and they reject it. So, and you know, it's not as big. Like kids don't know much, but they just know whether they like it or not, and they don't understand the rationalism or the emotional connect that goes on behind that. So just don't control yourself when it comes to your children, and don't bring out your emotional outpour or outrage towards the kids. And this is the time where you may end up kind of having this emotional outpours against your kids, which is not necessarily good. And I'm saying this as a preventive measure, because Sun is the lord of the eighth house, and it's important for us to kind of bring about that structure and not overreact for the fifth house matters. And fifth house is primarily children, and it is even more important because Jupiter, the significator of children, is placed in the eighth house. It could be because of uncertainty in your child's life or something like that, but we all kind of have or go through these uncertain phases, and it naturally clears off. So maybe it will clear off, and your silence and wisdom is going to help that uncertainty clear off. So somewhere we need to understand that if we are playing the role of a father or a mother or an elder, uh, we need to be a little bit more composed and calm before we actually end up preaching or you know uh, 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 emoting very in a very volatile or an angry manner.
Okay. Okay. Someone is asking that if Sun is on Saturn, natal Saturn.
Yeah.
So that means Saturn is in Taurus sign any which way. So it is going to, of course, wherever Saturn sits or wherever Sun transits, it actually gives you the authority, of it illuminates that zone. Saturn is darkness, it's slowdom. So anything that you want quick results related to that particular zone. So it's for Capricorn, the fifth house related affairs. So if you have Saturn there, so it will definitely be a positive thing in your children's life and in your life, and on relationship wise also you will feel better with Sun over Saturn, because Saturn as it is wherever sits, it just detaches you. So when Sun goes there, it will illuminate you, so you'll be more confident and your children will be more confident. So it's a good thing for especially the Lagnesh is getting the impact of Sun, though it is the eighth lord which is impacting Saturn. So it can delay the process. Maybe if you're sitting for some exam or something, it is a delaying factor, no doubt. So in authority at work or in your personality, you have that slowdom. So Sun will definitely minimize that slowdom, and there will be some sudden changes which we can expect.
Correct.
Okay. So we can move on to Aquarius now, because there will be questions coming in now and then we are going to be getting late. As it is a 2 hours video, I think we have already done 2 hours. So coming to Aquarius, for Aquarius is the fourth house, house of emotions, domestic issues. So you might just reconnect with your roots when Sun is transiting the fourth house. It can be that, you want that stability now. It can be that you're going to be connecting with your family members during this time. And this is a great time to ground yourself emotionally and create stability in your personal life, even if the outside world feels chaotic. So in case you want to relocate also, it said that this is, in the fourth house when Sun transits, it is losing Digbal also. So it is losing its it's sheen here. Basically, it's a midnight time when sun is in the 10th house. So it is not active. So you want to rest. That is why fourth house is the house of rest, is the nadir. So you will feel that you want to do certain things at home. There can be some conflict that you can go through, verbal arguments, because it is the sign of verbal discussions, also speech related issues, and maybe something to do with property, agriculture. You might just be losing money here as well. So don't get involved in heavy investments during this time. And also, you may have some fever and you are home confined with sun here, and it can give you some bodily pains or some mental worries, and some dispute at home that you have to stay back home most of the times, and you're not going to be, or maybe
Yeah.
you're working from home. Is the seventh lord in the 10 places away from itself. So maybe there is some elevation for your partner, and you're going to be, it's a celebration time, so you call people home, etc. also. And this might just give disturbance in your, maybe it can be good for relocation though. So it is a transitional phase any which ways. It said that during the Sankranti you should not make major decisions, because sun whenever is in the transition mode, you're not confident. There are certain losses that you go through whenever mentally, you feel weak. So it's not considered to be good when there is a Sankranti, dawn, dusk, as we say. We should not be making any important decisions during these time periods. And what else? What else? What else? I think that's it. That's about it. Over to you.
So I think Sukhabhava, sun is in the fourth house of natural house of well-being. So which directly kind of, as you use the word illuminates, it kind of illuminates the need to take care of our immediate well-being and comfort for Aquarius rising natives. So it is the house of you know uh, trying, where we can try and get some peace or self-content, or satisfying our own inner selves, and questioning or re-questioning and recalibrating our own emotions in terms of how we feel with our mother, and also the physical place where we are located, our domestic well-being. And it might help to kind of just move around things a little bit, and that will be a good positive impact. Like maybe try and bring a natural plant inside the house, maybe a small pot, that could kind of change the energy within the house. So it's not that the particular plant or something that you bring in should have some kind of a healing energy, but if it just shifts the mindset, I think that is far more important than just having any kind of mystical power within our living area. So I think that is something that is worth considering. And on the other hand, sun is also the lord of the seventh house, and I mean, seventh house, the house of partnerships, and also the gateway of the public life. So uh, the fourth house is Nadir. So as you mentioned, it's the deeply personal house, and it says that our external life is largely connected with our internal life, and we identify with our inner self, with how we kind of remain to the outside world. So, and we need to understand that there is some form of a line that we need to draw there, and try to differentiate our external lives and internal lives, and which will help us kind of have a little bit of grounding in the domestic regions or domestic areas of our lives. And uh, and apart from that, I think there is obviously there is no directional strength, there is not much dignity for sun in the fourth house. So we need to kind of cultivate some rituals, not rituals in the sense, as I mentioned, just moving around things to kind of feel better and have this rooting. So Taurus indicates grounding and rooting within our own self. So even if you are not able to kind of buy a property or something like that immediately, there needs to be some kind of rootedness, and the feeling of settlement has to come. And this is the nice time to kind of feel settled, and have some kind of a fixity for our domestic environment. And so I think trusting your partners or spouses for emotional balance or well-being is one of those things that you can most certainly do. So and and the person will respond. So the seventh lord in the fourth house, which is the 10th from seventh, indicates action. So uh, the spouse is going to act for you, and that is with sun, it is going to be, they are probably going to take a much more dominant role during this month. And on the other hand, it is also important for you to let them take the dominant role and lie low, because it is now that they have this upper hand, and that is beneficial for you and your own family and immediate domestic setup. So I think somewhere down the line, uh, it's important to kind of understand that no one loses in a relationship, rather than trying to identify who is winning. So giving up a dominant position is not necessarily giving up, but it is actually growing up, so that we can kind of develop a reasonably harmonious environment.
Okay, great. A great analysis, by the way. So let's move on to, I think people are going to be really happy with such an elaborate explanation for each sign. So coming
Yeah.
to the last sign, that is Pisces. Okay. So for Pisces, this is a third house transit, which is definitely positive for you. Any which ways, you are going to be more chatty, you're going to be more curious, you're going to be learning, you're going to be practical, you're going to be traveling. It's good for teaching, writing, mending relationships, and with neighbors, siblings, cousins. You might just reconnect, and you might just guide them through. They need your, guidance, but don't get carried away with too much of information. Also, too much of information is also not considered to be good. Here sun can give you too much to actually navigate through. So that is something you have to be cautious about. It is good for your children also, because it's the 11 places away from it's forming a 3-11 relationship with your fifth house. So it's definitely very positive for your children's name, fame, and honor, and they might just get good results. And it's the 10th from your sixth house also, so it is good for your repayment of loans, etc., and coming out of the disease that you're suffering with also. So it's definitely very positive for the ones who are making any kind of courageous decisions, bold decisions coming in, and that too regards to your income, your expenditure, your savings, your loans, your debts, your overall areas of life. So it is definitely a positive one, because third house transit definitely is considered to be very good. And you might just make some new friends also. This is the time when you will be focusing more on communication, and maybe with your bosses, seniors, you'll reconnect, and you want to share your ideas. Could be that you're traveling overseas with them, or you're just having short journeys for some presentation or some meetings as well. You're going to be very busy with sun in the third house. This month is quite full of work, and Saturn is also looking here, so it is going to be making you like loaded with work any which way. Saturn's transit in the first house is looking at the 10th, is going to give you that opportunity to complete the task and get into more tasks. You're going to be more immersive, you're going to be more involved in your work also, and you're just developing yourself. Self development definitely takes place. Over to you, Ashwin.
Okay. Final Pisces. So I think third house is all about courage and resistance. So with sun in the third house, we learn how to resist challenges. So as the sixth ruler, sun can potentially bring in challenges, but also being in third house, sun can also help us find initiatives and ways to kind of neutralize those challenges and actually gain some resistance, and probably a nice way forward. So there is a lot of skill and action that is involved during this period. So I think communication will play an important role, and our communication has to be, when we have restraint, we also need to have resilience, and that can come out in form of communication, because third house is the house of communication as well, apart from initiatives and effort. So so you can kind of try and not develop, but unleash the warrior instinct within you, which is going to help in a lot of ways, in terms of bringing about creative self expression. So social media can be an important place, because third house is the house of social media, and you can kind of vent out through social media without letting out a lot of personal matters. So that could be one of those places or areas where you can kind of focus on, because if you don't have much people to kind of talk or uh, share things with, it's always good to kind of go on a social media and just express what you feel about any given situation. So it's important to unburden and to kind of be able to realize that we need to unburden and we need help in terms of moving out is actually an important first step, because carrying weight is not going to help. And so I think it's very important for people, especially Pisces rising natives, to kind of unburden in order to overcome a lot of obstacles and try to acquire some new skills which may help them in move forward. I mean, a skill doesn't have to be a major studying skill or something like that, but I think people will have to acquire little skills. Maybe cooking, if someone is not cooking, maybe cooking or something as simple. I mean, I don't mean to say that cooking is simple, but something that we can use in daily life to enhance the progress of our daily life. So I think something like that is very, very important, and also crucial. So don't do it to impress, but do it to liberate yourself, because you are in the process of unlearning and unburdening. So trying to impress someone will bring in an element of materialism, and we don't want to have that during this time. So overall, I think courage is, I mean, third house is courage. So somewhere you're also afraid. So be sure and understand that sometimes courage is not actually about showing courage. Courage is sometimes about hiding fear. So sometimes we need to kind of embrace that and just move forward.
Good one, Ashwin. That was a good one.
So yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's it from me
Okay,
for
great,
Pisces.
great, great. A great analysis as always. And I hope everybody enjoyed the analysis on the mundane as well as on the individual plane. And we'll be doing it every month, of course. If you have any questions, do write in the comment section so that we can respond.
Yeah.
And we definitely will try to respond each and every answer. If I won't, at least Ashwin will, or either which ways, we will. And you're most welcome to ask any questions. Thank you so much, Ashwin, again for making
Thanks
time
for
and
having
being
me.
here.
Thank you
So
so
see you
much.
next month. All the best. Thank you so
Take
much,
care.
everyone.
Bye,
Om
everyone.